right into theories. I'll just tell you, I think obviously something happened to him on his way up to Pyramid Peak.
Okay.
I think this terrain is so incredibly rugged, and the weather conditions are very poor on this hike. I think he probably slipped. Maybe he got turned around, went up the wrong route, and he fell somewhere, up high enough that ground crews can't get to on foot. So now you're relying entirely on someone in a helicopter trying to find you.
Yeah, for anyone watching the video, you can see how shaky it is. Granted, they're zooming in, but it's
tough.
You're looking for a needle in a haystack.
And if he went off route, like took a route that normal hikers and climbers don't take, people may not find his remains because you're not the people that
Nobody
know the
there.
hike. Then no one's going to go up that route. And you're not going to have just like day hikers, bushwhacking on the side of this mountain.
Yeah, I don't think when we went, I didn't see a single person going up any of the peak routes. And
No.
there are lots of people there, but they just go to see the lake. They go to see Maroon Lake, and then even less people go to Crater Lake.
Yeah.
And that's pretty easy, and that's where you have to go to just start either Pyramid or the Maroon Bells.
Yeah. So I think, unlike our previous episode, I think this one sadly probably was a fall of some kind due to the conditions, possibly due to not staying on the proper route up the mountain. And he fell in an area that was not able to be searched by ground crews, and you're relying on, helicopters to find. And with the weather conditions, he could have been covered up in snow pretty quickly. It would just be tough. And then, the remains potentially could have been washed away in a rock fall, in an avalanche.
Yeah, covered in scree.
I mean, it's not like a normal national park where you have thousands of people, stomping through easier parts of the park. Mm-hmm. Like, there may never be another person that climbs up past where his remains are, depending on where he fell.
Yeah. It could be in a spot where no one ever goes because it would not make sense, or you can't even get there.
Yeah. That's my theory.
I'm agreeing with you. Yeah. I think just because, and the thing that did is because he was experienced.
Yep.
I trust he knew what he was doing. So if it was an off trail, when they talk about the snow, that's what gets me, because if you're relying on Karens to get through, and from some of the comments I was reading at All Trails, and people are saying you have to stick to the Karens.
Yeah.
And if you sometimes, on more flat mountains, they mark a general area and you can see the next one. You don't have to go straight to it. You can kind of meander. On this, it looks like you have to stick on trail. Yeah. And if not, I could imagine with the snow cover, you get off trail a little bit. If you get onto those poker chips with a 15 to 30 degree angle,
steep,
you could just start sliding. And if you start sliding, and I've slid a little bit on mountains where it wasn't a cliff, but it's scary because you have zero control. And if you start a slide, it's possibly slid right off somewhere.
And I'm not implying that he went off trail on purpose. I think.
Oh yeah, I definitely don't think he would do that.
I'm sure he probably researched the crap out of these mountains before climbing them, and he knew that you need to stay on the proper routes. I think maybe the conditions were bad enough that he got turned around.
I would agree with that, because just the minimal research of us looking at it online, we're already like, okay, this is some serious stuff. So he lives there, he knows the area.
He's from New Mexico, but he's hiked. He's
hiked the area. Okay,
in Colorado,
So he knows the area. When you do peaks in Colorado, there's a lot that are alike in certain sections.
You don't summit 50. You don't do 50 technical climbs and summit a mountain by just like winging it every time.
Yeah. And not having issue.
Yeah. Like, you could maybe get away with doing that once or twice, and then something's going to happen. I'm sure he, being a U.S. Marine, Marine veteran, he's probably very regimented in his research of these mountains. I'm sure he probably knew every route you're supposed to take, and probably mapped it out, and probably talked to people, and I'm sure he knew what he was supposed to do. But anyone in, like the video you showed, going up the mountain, conditions get bad enough.
Yeah, it can just happen.
Even the most experienced person can get turned around. And on a mountain like this, there's literally no margin for error.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I would agree. Yeah. If it sounds like you get off route and you step in the wrong spot and start sliding.
Yeah.
You're going off sheer face and there's nothing you can do. And you're not anywhere. If you fall off a cliff, you're nowhere near a trail where someone's going to find you.
And I think part of the thing that adds to the difficulty of finding his remains, because obviously I don't think he would survive the fall, is we don't have a definite location of where he was going to be each day.
Yeah.
We have him in the parking lot, but his family said he moves quick.
Yeah.
Like, he may have planned to do Pyramid Peak and then changed his mind and said, I want to do one of the other peaks nearby.
Yeah, maybe he started going up Pyramid and it was too sketchy.
So he went back to
went
Maroon.
back down, tried the other one, and that's where it would have seemed like a late start maybe.
Yeah.
If he did it. So we could speculate all day long, but I'm in agreement with you. It's probably a really tragic accident.
Yeah.
And not that the other ones aren't tragic, but when you have someone that knows what they're doing, it's probably something that was simply out of his control.
Yeah, I mean, the lady who recommended this said it was the talk of the climbing community for years after this happened. It sounds like Dave Cook was a well-known and highly regarded climber in the Colorado climbing community. Sure. I mean, you would have to be if you've done 50 summits. So, yeah, real sad story. I feel bad the family is not going to get closure. Maybe they will someday.
Yeah.
But I think what they're doing with that website is super cool.
That is awesome. Are you going to put the link in the
I'll
notes?
put the link in the show notes.
Yeah, absolutely. Go check it out. I started playing it without the audio, but there's a video that looks like it's from his wife where she's kind of introducing what they do. Go watch it, and if you have a couple bucks, maybe skip our Patreon for a month. Yeah. Donate to charity. I'd rather have that happen and then come back to Patreon later.
Yeah, because these search and rescue teams really, I mean, without them out there searching, I mean, no one would ever be found.
Yeah, we've talked to a couple of them that didn't necessarily want to come on the air if they're like, they just don't want to be on the radio. Yeah. But every single one we've talked to, they're like we said, they're not paid. And they take it so seriously. Yeah. They talk about the strategy. They talk about how they have their beepers and they have like their employers know, hey, if that thing goes off, you're going to be going. Yeah. And they take time out away from their family, away from their job, making money.
Risking their lives
to go help other people. And they like doing it. Yeah. So absolutely.
And they feel terrible when they end a search. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
From everyone we talk to, it's just like they feel like failures if they can't bring closure. And our show is based on there's thousands of people that aren't found. And it can be very daunting. So any type of support, throw them their way.
Yeah. So
I think this is one of the few times we just agree pretty much right on one theory. I don't think it's animals. I don't think it's anything else. I think it's just the conditions and the difficulty of the mountain. Yeah. And a potential mistake by an expert because he's just simply human.
Yeah. And I thought this was a cool episode to do just because you've been there and seen them with your own eyes.
Yeah.
And
definitely go. Don't climb if you're not a good climber, but go check it out.
Even if you're a good climber, don't climb it.
Yeah, or go with a guide, or if they have guided services, go with somebody who knows what they're doing. But definitely, if you can get out to Maroon Bells,
I definitely want to go see it.
It's an amazing, amazing hike. And you can just do the day hike stuff and bring your kids. And
it seems really like nice. It's up there, like after seeing all this, it's up there with like seeing Half Dome.
Yeah.
Like, it's on that level of, I've seen Half Dome, so I'd love to see the Maroon Bells at some point. Not climb them, though.
Well, I don't know. I think that's our theories, hey?
Yeah, that's our